Well, hello. Welcome back to the house in Preston, Maryland. And just as an update, I'm going to go through a couple areas of the house. There's a contractor working for me to do some structural framing repairs. And yours truly has also done some updating here. I have built a new set of stairs to the basement with a much more comfortable angle for the rise and the run. I got the oil tank disconnected and moved to the side so I could get the old line out and make that flush with the floor. The stairs are longer than the steeper original stairs, so I had to make some headroom. Otherwise you'd be bonking your head every time you went up and down the stairs. So I cut away two joists here in the basement and put in a header next to an existing header, and these run over about 8 feet to this beam here, so not much of a span. The bit of a challenge was to jack up these joists, because they kind of hold the stairwell up, and then insert this header here next to the original. But I was able to do that successfully, and when I measured with the laser measure, there was absolutely no deflection when I took out the temporary wall holding up these joists. Down here in the basement, in addition to the stairs and opening up the floor to give the stairwell some headroom, I also kept the original floor stiffer here for the kitchen area. That's a little bright. I'm going to go around to the other side. And what you can see is the original 4x6 spanning probably about 18 feet or so. I put in a new pressure-treated post on the block wall, put in a new pressure-treated 4x4 at the scarf joint in this beam, which is behind the gusset, and I was able to get this beam tight to the underside of the joists. Likewise, next to the chimney is a 4x4 pressure-treated post. I also did some sistering of the joists because some of the ends of the joists were bad where they meet the sill over here. Anyway, so there are a few of the joists that are sistered. On the other side, I took out a beam that didn't catch this last joist and made a beam. Again, this is a floor stiffener. It's not carrying the walls, it's not carrying the roof. It's just to keep the floor stiff, minimize deflection in the floor. But I wanted to be sure that that was the case, so again, pressure-treated short post on the block wall, gussets, and sistering some joists. The contractor actually did that. I did the beam and the posts. All of the posts, including this one over here, are resting on concrete piers, and that's just to spread the load. The slab's only about 2.5 inches thick, so I wanted to be sure to distribute the weight of the post so I don't get any punch through. And the piers do a satisfactory job in that regard. This was originally a 4x4 post. Again, this is at the scarf joint in this beam, and I replaced the 4x4 with a much straighter 4x6, so that sturdies that up quite well. The contractor that I have has replaced some sections of the sill. So this section of the sill was rotted out quite a ways. This section of sill was only rotted out above the pier in the corner, but it needed to go back and rest on the other pier. As you can see there, actually there's a little gap that I need to fill in. But structurally, that's fine. And some of these joists were rotten on the end over here, so the contractor sistered these joists. I have so many sistered joists in this house, I should open a convent. Ha ha. In any event, so that's what's happened down here at the basement. And basement's pretty dry, which is a good thing. And I put in this backboard here, securely attached to the chimney, for a new main electrical panel. It'll be 200 amp. The overhead feed will be attached in a new spot on the house. New feed cable will come down, and it'll run along this beam here, and it'll make the right turn through the joist bay over to the backboard for the attachment to the panel. So the other thing I did was on top of the block wall all along this side here, you see this temporary wall, and it's going to go away, but it was used by the contractor to jack up the joists in the kitchen ceiling. When they're done with all of that, then this will come down and I'll get that shelf space back. And there's the old panel. The electrician said that's good enough to reuse, but I won't be reusing it here in the main house. That'll get repurposed for the pole building in the not too distant future. So next stop, kitchen.